We have officially reached the point in this build where we need a wideband. This build has come a long way from fully forged internals, bigger turbo, bigger injectors, to now we need to monitor everything that's going on, and the access port is not doing enough. So my tuner has requested that we need to go ahead and put a wideband on this car to make it a little more easy to read all the data that's coming off the access port. Here's everything we're going to use. Obviously we have our Holley wideband for our AEM gauge so that we can go ahead and read our actual wideband AFRs. I was reading the forums and I just want to clear something up. A wideband is different than your air-fuel ratio sensor on your access port for these cars. Your AF sensor 1, that's your narrowband, so that pretty much is the same thing as a wideband, except for it's not as accurate as a wideband air-fuel ratio sensor. It does relatively the same thing, but your narrowband is what tells your ECU how to adjust fuel trims, if that makes sense. Your wideband is a sensor for you to read to have the most accurate air-fuel ratio sensor so that your tuner can go off of that and adjust your fuel trims accurately without a narrowband. So hence, you need to go to a wideband setup to be able to run higher boost, higher power applications just to make sure that everything doesn't blow up. General rule of thumb, you want your wideband sensor roughly 18 inches past your turbo outlet into your downpipe, but it has to be before your catalytic converter for the most accurate reading possible. Now, this AEM wideband kit does come with a bung to weld onto your downpipe so that you can have the most accurate reading possible if that's what you're going to do. However, I have the Cobb downpipe on here, and I already have an extra wideband bung, so I'm just going to use this one, even though it is a little closer to the turbo outlet. I think it's going to be just fine. And now they say to have your wideband 18 to 36 inches away from the outlet of your turbo or headers, but it has to be before your cat. That's just a general rule of thumb to save sensor life. But if you don't really care, you don't really care. You can put it wherever. It's still going to read. It's just AEM, and most people prefer it a little farther back. So it's a little colder exhaust temperatures than it is coming straight out of the turbo just to save the sensor. But having that bung already on there is going to save us a bunch of time. So I'm just going to use that for now. And maybe later on down the road, we can go ahead and put in the other bung 18 to 36 inches down. Given that it is a catted downpipe, so it will be just before the cat. However, let's go ahead and get this sensor installed into the exhaust, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to wire this thing up, and then we're going to pretty much wire in the gauge to see how it's going to look. I already have the triple gauge pod on the dash. Just going to go right into that center port right there, and then I have another gauge coming that's going to be on the far right, and that'll be a boost gauge just so that we can maintain legitimate boost pressure and not have to rely on the access port, and pretty much only use the access port for reading engine codes, clearing check engine lights, things of that nature, and using it to tune. So these gauge setups are super easy to install. This wideband kit is phenomenal to install as well, so I'll link it down in the description box below if you're looking for one. All that's going to happen is we're going to screw the wideband into that hole right there. This connector is going to plug into the wideband, and then everything else we have to do is inside the cab of the car. Alright, so I have all of my wires for the most part ran, and I am doing the wideband and boost gauge at the same time. So let me show you how I ran these wires. So don't mind this is going to get cleaned up. This is from my oil pressure gauge. I have something that's going to make this look way nicer. So here's the clock wiring for the original factory clock that sits right here. So you pop this cover off, you unhook it from the clock. So you're going to have all of your wires here. You're going to have your yellow with your green stripe is going to be your power, and obviously your black is going to be your ground. So I snipped those off the harness and just going to tuck this clock portion of the harness out of the way. So all we need to worry about is power and ground to be able to run these gauges, because these gauges are going to go off of other modules that are in the engine bay, which I'll show you in just a second. So we come out here to the engine bay. So here's like your main power from your harness going into the cab of your car. So I undid all the electrical tape down this, and I ran my wires through that grommet, and they pop out right there, right below the blower motor. So the harness coming off of the wideband comes up here, clicks in to this bunch of wires right here, which goes through this harness grommet. I also ran my boost line, which I'm going to be running off of this vacuum nipple right here from the intake manifold. It'll be hooked up with this one right here. It'll get cleaned up and look nice just like that. But I ran that one through the firewall as well, up underneath the dash, and popped them all out here. So this bunch of wires is wideband. This is boost, and oil pressure is already in here. So all we need to do is just grab our wideband harness here and attach our power and our ground and plug it into the back of the sensor, which all of the gauges are in the triple gauge pod right there. So we're gonna get everything wired up here before we plug them into the gauges. So all we have to do on both sensors is plug in power and ground. And here's how I'm going to clean that up. These are a 2 to 6 adapters, so I'm going to run one power wire, one ground wire. So power is going to go in orange, ground's going to go in blue. And then you can hook all of your gauges, power and grounds up to it, so that way you get rid of all the butt connectors and all that disgusting stuff that makes your wiring look like junk. So instead of adding like Deutsch connectors or something like that, if this is going to be on the inside of the car, these are a really good option for you to use, because you can attach a lot of stuff to these instead of having all the different butt connectors like this that these gauges come with, and then it won't look like crap. So all you have to do to make these work is you just flip these switches up, shove your wires in, and then close this down, and it has a good tight connection that's not going to break on you. And we have all of our wiring schematics up. So if you are running Pro Sport gauges, when you run your power wire, if you want them how mine look, which is the red option, you plug in the regular 12 volt red wire and the orange wire into the power, and that'll give you the red option for your color schemes on your gauges. So like I said, just pop these guys open, and we're gonna go blue for ground. That should be a pretty tight connection. This orange is gonna be power. And now we're just gonna re-hook up our gauges. Alright, and that is it for our oil pressure gauge. Now let's go ahead and wire in our wideband. So it's just gonna be the same, red and black. These two are optional if you have different sensors that you want to run with it. So these I'm gonna tape up in the harness. Not going to use, just going to use power ground, because all we need is to power the gauge. And now, last but not least, we need to wire in the boost gauge. So this boost gauge is a little different. Well, not really actually, this is pretty standard, but the boost gauge is the same gauge as the oil pressure. So it's a Pro Sport Evo series, and red wire and orange wire are going to connect together on the power side. Black wire obviously goes to ground, and green connects to our white wire on our boost sensor. So that's what this vacuum line is for, is to hook up to this sensor here that we're going to put back here, just like that, back in this general area. And then once that white wire is connected to this, the red and the black will connect to our power and ground. So let's get the power and grounds situated first, and then we can go ahead and make all the final adjustments with the actual vacuum line and the boost sensor wiring as well. So we're going to tie the orange and red together, because that's going to give us our color scheme that we want, which is the red face with the red numbering. We're also going to tie in our boost pressure sensor, power. We'll pop that right into orange, and then our gauge ground with our boost pressure ground. So pressure sensor and actual sensor, pressure sensor and gauge are all good to go. Now we need to tie in our green wire right here into our white wire on our actual sensor. So now this should be the only butt connector that is in this entire piece, and it will be soldered, so alright. Now, I know it looks messy, but we're going to clean that up. We just got everything plugged back in now. This is everybody's scariest part, the moment of truth, to see if it will actually turn on. There they are. There they are. Alright, so we have oil pressure, wideband, boost. So everything's reading right now. Boost is reading -1, obviously because there's no boost. Wideband's there. Car's not started, so oil pressure 0, wideband's there. But they all light up and they all work. This cockpit is turning out so good. Now with the final touches of actually being able to read the data. Oh, that's so sick. No, that looks really good. I'm stoked with the red. I mean, it matches everything, like the radio, turbo timer, all the lights on the dash. Everything looks good. So it's cockpit is coming together. I'm stoked to be able to see all the stuff I need to see. Yeah, I can have my boost gauge on my access port, but I'm not looking at my access port. I'm looking at my actual like oil pressure and all that stuff. So being able to see RPM, speed, and then all my gauges right there as I'm looking down the road, super helpful. The access port is really only helpful now that we're speed density and pro tuned and pretty much just like as built as you can get right now. That is really only for checking for knock and then clearing engine codes and doing all that. Everything else is over here that I need to see. And if there's something specific that I need to see, I can check it out right there. Not that big of a deal. But that's really just for loading stuff onto the car. Now, we have everything set up and ready to go. I'm stoked with how this is looking and this car is turning out. Now we need to do something about the rest of this. But maybe next we handle this, because that is absolutely disgustingly ugly and I don't want to keep looking at that anymore. Plus the speakers are like super blown, so I don't even use this anyways. I just shut it off. So maybe we do a full audio overhaul, go all out with the sound system on this thing. I'm not a big sub guy. I mean, I used to be, but I'm not really anymore. More just clear audio, make it sound good, because when you turn this radio up past like 15, it's just the worst crackling and like distorted music that you can think of. So we should probably change all that out. But one more time, I'll just show you how everything is ran. So our wideband is ran up out of the way and plugged in right there. All of the wiring is ran through the main engine harness boot into the cabin. The last thing that we're gonna do, well, that I'm gonna do, I'll probably do off camera, but I'm gonna electrical tape all that up, make sure that is watertight, good to go, heat shrink it, and make it perfect. Our boost is ran off of this nipple here, which we don't use anymore because for speed density. So this is a boost pressure port for me, out of the manifold, through here, into the cab, up to the gauge. And I want to say one thing before I let you go. I know that wiring seems so daunting, but if you take your time and go wire by wire, it is really not that bad. The hardest part of wiring is mastering the art of keeping it clean. If you can keep it clean while you're doing it, your wiring is going to be immaculate. You're going to fall in love with it, and you're going to want to wire everything and make it perfect. So take your time, wire in whatever you want to, just make it clean, make it look nice. Follow the instructions on whatever you get, and you're going to be golden. I promise. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video right here. I appreciate all of you watching. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya.